Welcome back to another segment of Learning with Lindsay. Lindsay, tell us what you got for us today.
All right, so we've got our categories of thunderstorms. Now, we've already gone over our QLCS. We did that a couple of weeks ago. What I wanted to talk about this time was our single cell supercells, or they're discrete storms, and that's what our threat is for tomorrow. Not just our threat, but north of us, they have that level 4 out of 5 risk. So let's get right into it. Basically, what I'm talking about are these supercells that pop up and have an incredibly high chance of causing some pretty strong tornadoes, like what we had. This is a textbook example of it. We had our main cold front line, so storms developing along the cold front. Any storms that developed ahead of the cold front would be these supercells, isolated, so there are not any surrounding them, meaning there's not a lot of interaction, which is any interaction from neighboring storms can kind of interfere with that inflow. So there's our inflow, there's our tornado right there, and that is a textbook looking hook echo, and this was from that Barnsdall tornado from last year. Now we can look at the next image. We have a satellite image of it, kind of just gives a little bit of a better picture there. So this is your outflow, obviously rain, hail, but you also have a gust front in here from your downdraft from the storm, and then it's moving obviously in this direction, a little bit more toward the northeast, and then there's your inflow. You can see how it kind of hooks around, and then your tornado's right in there. Now, once that cold front pushed over it, overtook it because it interfered with that inflow, so you're not getting that warm, moist air moving into the tornado, and it just wipes it out completely. Okay. So that's what happens when you have these neighboring storms, and we can go to the next slide as well, and it'll just show what this kind of looks like if you cut that in half. So we've got our downdraft, here's our rain, here's our hail at the front of the storm if it's moving towards me, and then you're gonna get that gust front, typically what you see ahead of that storm, and you can see how the rain pushes out as well, and a bit of a shelf cloud. Not a severe threat, shelf cloud's not a big deal, but it just shows that gust front. And then part of a supercell that we wanna look for the difference between a pulse storm, which we'll talk about in the next coming weeks, and a discrete supercell is this rotating updraft, and that's your mesocyclone. That is the telltale sign that you're going to get potential for tornadoes. Now, eventually, your downdraft kind of pulls that rotating updraft a little bit further down to the surface. You get your wall clouds, you get your rotating funnel, and then eventually it continues to drop down to the surface, bringing that tornado. So although we're not seeing a huge threat in our area, that's what they're expecting for the storms tomorrow, these isolated discrete supercells. And those are, I mean, those are potentially the most damaging type of thunderstorms if you're expecting strong tornadoes, EF3 or greater.
Yeah, got to look out for those. Thanks, Lindsay. We'll be right back.